Hello, dear friends, welcome to our YouTube channel, USA Football Zone, latest football highlights. Some matches are played merely for points, but this was about history, it was about pride, it was about the soul of an entire continent, it was a century-old rivalry written in sweat, tears, and sometimes blood. It was Brazil versus Argentina. This was not just a qualifier, it was another chapter in a century-long battle between football's finest teams. It was a night when an impregnable fortress was set to crumble, a curse was about to be broken, and a rivalry was destined to prove itself as one of the fiercest and most intense in the sporting world. Let us revisit the pivotal moments of this historic World Cup match, a night when emotions ran high and history was made. To fully grasp what transpired on that turbulent night in Rio, one must understand that this was more than just a game, it was a saga spanning over a century. The first FIFA-recognized match between Brazil and Argentina took place in 1914. Although it was a friendly, Argentina's 3-0 victory marked the beginning of one of international football's greatest rivalries. Ironically, that same year, the Argentine president inaugurated the Copa Roca in an effort to improve relations. The rivalry simmered for a time before erupting in 1925. On Christmas Day, the two nations faced off in a crucial South American Championship match in Buenos Aires. An Argentine defender committed a severe foul on Brazil's star player, Arthur Friedenreich, sparking a massive brawl on the pitch involving both players and fans. As the incident occurred at the Barracas Stadium, the Brazilian press dubbed it the Battle of Barracas. Argentina fought back to secure a 2-2 draw and clinch the title. But the damage had already been done. No matches were played between the two nations for several years thereafter. Over time, this animosity has only deepened. The 20th century was rife with such controversies. Who could forget the 1990 World Cup? Forever remembered for the infamous holy water scandal? Argentina secured a hard-fought 1-0 victory, but the win was overshadowed by allegations that their coaching staff had handed Brazilian defender Branco a water bottle laced with a sedative. Then came the 1995 Copa America quarter-final, one of the most dramatic matches in history, which saw 3 players sent off. It sent a clear message: brawls and rage were not merely relics of the past, they were woven into the very DNA of this rivalry. It was more than just football, it was psychological warfare. And as the 2026 World Cup qualifiers began, the stage was set for yet another epic chapter. The match was scheduled to take place at Rio de Janeiro's iconic Maracana Stadium, a venue revered as a temple of football. For the Brazilian national team, it was not just a stadium but an impregnable fortress. Throughout the history of World Cup qualifiers, Brazil had never lost a match on home soil. This unbeaten record was astonishing, bordering on the unbelievable, comprising 51 wins and 13 draws across 64 matches. Breaking this streak seemed impossible, yet, when the newly crowned world champions, Argentina, arrived, the foundations of that fortress began to tremble. The Seleção, the Brazilian team, were in crisis. Stuck in 6th place in the CONMEBOL standings, they faced an unthinkable prospect: failing to qualify directly for the World Cup. They were enduring a nightmare run, having lost 2 consecutive matches for the first time in qualifying history. A third defeat was unthinkable. The tension was palpable and it exploded even before the game began. Violence erupted in the stands. Harrowing scenes unfolded during the national anthems as Brazilian police moved into the section occupied by Argentine fans. Fights broke out, and the situation quickly spiraled out of control. The players on the pitch were left shocked and unsettled by the chaos. Argentina captain Lionel Messi led his team toward the stands to appeal for calm. Before making a drastic decision, he was taking his team off the pitch. Amidst nearly 30 minutes of extreme tension, the match, the rivalry, and the safety of everyone in the stadium were at risk. As Messi later remarked, at that moment, the match was secondary. The game had not even properly begun, yet it had already plunged into the familiar chaos that characterizes this historic fixture. When the players finally returned to the field, the atmosphere was charged with tension. The Maracana Stadium, usually a festive sea of yellow and green, was now filled with anger and anxiety. The first half felt less like a football match and more like an exhausting battle. It was a fiercely violent game riddled with fouls, forcing the referee to repeatedly issue cards just to maintain some semblance of control. Play was constantly interrupted by stoppages and clashes. 22 fouls were called in the first half alone. Despite the absence of injured stars like Neymar and Vinicius Jr., Brazil arguably held the upper hand in terms of early chances. They played with immense intensity driven by necessity. They had to defend their home turf and their pride. Their best moment arrived just before the break, when a corner kick from Gabriel Marti it reached Martinelli. He unleashed a magnificent shot. It looked like a certain goal, but somehow, defender Christian Romero stepped in and cleared the ball off the line with extraordinary defensive skill. Meanwhile, Argentina was playing a game designed to absorb pressure and dampen Brazil's momentum. They were disciplined, organized, and patient, playing with the calm confidence of world champions. They knew that in such a tough, emotionally charged match, a single moment could decide everything. So, they held their nerve, weathered the storm, and waited for the right opportunity. At the start of the second half, Brazil once again played aggressively. Within minutes of the restart, they had a golden opportunity. Martinelli found himself in a perfect position near the goal, with the chance to become a national hero, but he shot straight at the Argentine goalkeeper, a massive chance squandered. It was a miss that cast a pall of negativity. As if luck simply wasn't on Brazil's side that day, and as the game wore on, the weight of that frustration grew with every passing minute. For 62 minutes, the match remained tense and fiercely contested, yet goalless. Then, Argentina won a corner. It seemed like just another of the many set-piece opportunities the match had offered. Giovanni Lo Celso stepped up and delivered a perfect, curling ball into the center of the penalty area, and then, the moment arrived. Nicolas Otamendi rose above everyone else, a picture of power and determination. The veteran defender powered the ball into the net, sending it past a helpless Alisson. The Maracana Stadium fell silent, and the home fans were left in disbelief. It was Argentina's first and only shot on target in the entire match, but it was enough. The Argentine players erupted in joy. They had succeeded, they had triumphed, even in the most challenging of circumstances. It was a moment of utter despair for Brazil. They had given their all against their opponents, only to see all their hard work undone by a brilliantly executed set piece. Brazil's frustrations soon spiraled into total chaos. Their woes deepened in the 81st minute when Joe Linton, who had come on as a substitute just moments earlier, lashed out at Argentina's Rodrigo de Paul. The referee immediately brandished a straight red card. Reduced to 10 men, Brazil's hopes of a comeback were all but extinguished when the final whistle blew. The unthinkable had happened. Brazil had lost a World Cup qualifier on home soil for the very first time. Their unbeaten run of 64 matches was shattered, and it was their arch-rivals, Argentina, who dealt the blow. While visiting fans celebrated wildly, Brazilian players faced the wrath of their own supporters, who jeered every Argentine touch and taunted them with chants of "Olé." This match was more than just a game. It was a story, a glimpse into a rivalry that has defined the continent for over a century. It is a tale of history, animosity, and high drama. Which rivalry do you consider the most intense in the world of sports? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoy stories from the pitch, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more in-depth football content. Thus, Argentina secured a historic victory on away soil. This cemented their position at the top of the South American standings and added another glorious chapter to their recent run of success. It was also a significant milestone for Lionel Messi, his first ever win against Brazil in a World Cup qualifier, conquering a challenge that had long eluded him. For Brazil, it was a night of national humiliation, a third consecutive defeat, the collapse of a historic home record, and a deep crisis for a team once renowned for its footballing brilliance. This defeat left them devastated, putting their World Cup dreams at risk. For now, the battle is over, but the next clash in this rivalry could begin at any moment. The result at the Maracana was not merely a scoreline, it was another chapter in the historic saga of Brazil versus Argentina. It serves as a reminder that in this rivalry, every match is about more than just points. It is about history, it is about honor.